What's up, everybody? Pablo, Deep Issues Nerdcast, here with the one, the legendary Mr. Brian Posehn of Grommets fame and only Grommets fame.
That's all I've ever done. That's all that matters.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the book. Clearly, you've created a very deep, kind of personal, unique story with you and Rick. These are true stories.
Yeah, so the inspiration came, I was not doing stand-up for 2 years during COVID. I woke up one morning because I was trying to generate writing projects and just had the name in my head. I went, oh, Grommets. It's a perfect name for a skateboarding comic. And we had a couple ideas, but I called Rick right away because I thought if anybody could write this with me, he's the perfect guy. He and I have been talking about skating since we met. I was always terrible at it, but I loved it. And I worked in skate shops in the 80s and early 90s. That was my last day job. I was putting skateboards together in Sacramento. So
That's awesome.
We came up with a modern take, and it sucked. And we said, well, let's just take our real stories and kind of put them together and, make it like Brian and Rick are these two friends, and we didn't know each other back then.
Yeah.
But everything fits.
It's hilarious because it hits all the nostalgia notes. But then there's also, as somebody who grew up in the 90s, there's like kind of a weird darkness because it's like the nostalgia hits you of just like, oh, how funny was this? But, and you're a dad too, I can't think of like letting my kids ride in the bed of my truck or like sending them to the store for cigarettes with a note.
Yeah. A lot of us were latchkey kids back then. My mom was going to school, was working, so I was alone a lot. And then I was living with my grandfather, and we depicted that, and he had shit going on and didn't care what I was doing all day. So we were allowed to just kind of do whatever we want. Like, I would ride my bike like 20 miles away from my house, and come home at the end of the night, and my mom would be like, what'd you do? And I'm like, oh, nothing, that's just how we all lived. And Rick had that in common too.
Yeah.
So we just used that as a jumping off point. It was fun to do like issue 2, where it just kind of showed a day in the life of like these kids with no parental units. Like we did, but not controlling us,
Did you work at a Taco Bell? Was that legit? Or?
I worked at every fast food place. I worked at McDonald's twice.
Brett Parsons' art is like basically like a Where's Waldo of like nostalgia, like the splash pages of like the kids all coming out of high school. The opening page, instantly that Taco Bell logo just like ratatouille'd me back into a moment in time.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah, and issue 2, when we go to the Taco Bell and he had the menu down, like his work, it's so good, but like we encourage that. Like the way we wrote it was we filled it with nostalgia, and then we sent him like pictures of the skateboards we owned back then and the t-shirts we both had. So all the shirts I wear, I actually had those. Like I had a Wasp t-shirt, Maiden, Metallica, all that stuff. Still do. But,
The first issue grabbed me. I just love like the moment of you like kind of bombing the pool and just
really
the flashbacks of where the pebble originated from.
I smashed my face in doing that. This little bump right there is where my braces went through my lip. It's a true story.
Coloring is always super important to me, and what Moreno brings to Brett Parsons' art is
it pops.
amazing.
I mean, I've shown it to people that read comics and go, oh, this looks killer. I've shown it to people that don't read comics and they're like, this is beautiful, like it pops off the page. I mean, look at those covers. That's a second printing, and that's like an amazing cover. Like,
Brett Parsons, like relatively not like as big of a name as he should be.
I think he will be now.
Yeah,
hopefully,
I hope so.
Hopefully, at least about among people that care.
Yeah, I mean, he did Tank Girl too. That's kind of another. Is that what kind of attracted you guys for him to begin with?
I didn't know him. It's all Rick. Rick knows everybody, and Rick's running this company, so he has to know all these artists. And he just said, oh, I got the guy.
Nice.
And I trusted him. And then when I saw like the first breakdowns, the first pages he started to do, and like when he was working on like what my character was going to look like, I loved it.
You're an actor, comedian. What's keeping you coming back to the medium of comics as a writer here?
I just love this. I love this world. I love comic shops. I love comic books. I still read. I go to comic book shops on Wednesday if I'm writing a book or not. I mean, I would be here shopping. So it's just to be still part of that world it means a lot to me.
What's in your pull list right now?
Whatever Jerry Duggan writes, Falling in Love on the Pathway to Hell.
That's a great book.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's all I'm going to keep you. I appreciate your time. Cool. I appreciate the book. I'm so excited about how the story kind of is going to come to a conclusion here, and I can't wait for the trade to come out.